It got to the point where like I trusted the wholesaler who I never met before. I just knew like the names of some of these guys. We negotiated it for a couple months. Didn't walk a single one of them. I've never taken a paycheck ever.
From the rentals or from
just from
lending?
Business, like the business at all. Like I've just never really taken a paycheck. Top end rents, it's over $1 million a month.
Welcome back to the Investor Unite podcast, where we talk all things real estate, business, and entrepreneurship.
If you are looking to ignite real estate investing, then join us on Investors Unite.
And on today's episode, we have a very special guest, someone that owns 900 properties, and that's properties. And the unit count, 1,600 units, completely insane.
That's
crushing
absurd.
It within the real estate industry with his brother and his father, but also has a private lending company as well. So just, crushing it in both spaces there. So we have the pleasure of having Ryan Shaffer on the podcast today.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for hopping on.
I appreciate it.
Before we jump into it, I just want to give you a huge thank you and a shout out to SPG Capital.
Yeah.
This is Ryan's company, and he gifted us these mugs, and they even have a better surprise on the inside. Give us some golf balls.
Yeah.
I'll have to go use these on the range sometime.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Of course.
So we definitely want to, know more about you. And for the audience that don't know you, because I know you don't post too much on social media, so this is definitely something outside of your comfort zone. But tell us about yourself, like what you started before you even got into real estate.
Yeah. So I can kind of start just with SPG, and then I can kind of back up.
Yeah.
Whatever you feel comfortable with.
But yeah, so my dad and I started SPG about 10 years ago. Kind of back up like a couple years before that. I went to Gettysburg College. Well,
Gotcha.
I grew up in Biglerville, Pennsylvania. So
local.
South Central Pennsylvania.
Awesome.
Went to Gettysburg College, and I thought that I was going to be in the Secret Service. I was dead set. That's what I was going to do.
You look like you could be.
I had an internship with them my junior year. And then once I graduated, it was a rude awakening that nobody was going to hire a 21-year-old to do that.
Guard the president.
So there's different routes that I could have taken. Could have gone been a police officer, which I tried to get into a police academy, but again, why would they take a 21-year-old at the time? So. So I kind of had to pivot, and so I started working for a company called EDR. That stood for Environmental Data Resources.
Okay.
And we sold a due diligence product for commercial real estate.
Okay.
And so from there, one of my clients, after about a year of selling, they asked me if I wanted to come on board. That company was called IBI, who then got acquired by CBRE, which is a very large commercial real estate company.
Okay.
And so I was doing sales for them up and down.
So you kind of accidentally just got into real estate.
And yeah, so that's kind of what I was
wasn't like the plan whatsoever.
100%. That's kind of why I tell that backstory that real estate wasn't even on my radar.
Yeah. Just fell into your lap.
It fell into my lap. And when I was working for CBRE, I had a really great boss, and I would call him a mentor at the time. And he's the one who really taught me just about finance, about real estate, how the deals get done on like a pretty big level. And while I was doing that, at the same time, my dad reached out to me and asked if I wanted to purchase a property with him that was just up the street from the house that we grew up in.
Sure.
Yeah.
And before this, did your dad do any of his own real estate investing, or is that just an idea that he came up with?
So growing up, he always had maybe one or two properties.
Yeah.
That was really it. So not a ton, but
a little investment experience, just not too much. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. So my first question to him was, yes, absolutely, but how are we going to buy it?
Yeah.
He's like, well, your grandpa, I already talked to him. He can give us the purchase money, which was $85,000. Needed a septic tank, so that was about $30,000.
Yeah,
he was paying for that, and then I had to come up with the money for the renovation, which was also about $30,000. So of course, my answer to him was absolutely.
Yeah,
I did not have $30,000 at the time.
It's like, I'll figure it out.
When I told him absolutely.
Yeah.
I've never actually asked him, but to this day, I don't even think he had I don't even know if he had $30,000 at the time. So that one took us about 6 to 8 months to renovate.
Okay.
We got through it. I just knew that I had to work super hard and I had to sell that summer to make money as we went. And so able to figure it out. And then, right when we finished it up, we had it appraised, and it appraised for like $285,000.
Oh shoot,
that's a big guy.
like $285,000.
That's a great first deal.
Right.
Yeah. And so I took that to our local bank. I took it to the bank. The appraisal came back, and I just remember him calling me up and saying, "So like, what loan amount do you want to do?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" Like, in my head, I'm like, "We're in for about 120, 25."
Right.
Wow.
And he's like, and he was talking about like upper 100s for loan amount, or like 70% LTV.
Yeah.
I said to him, I was like, what do I do with the other money? With the rest of the,
It's like,
with the rest of the money? I don't understand. He's like, well, we can do a line of credit. You can use it for other properties or whatever. And so that was kind of the point in time where it clicked. We're like, okay, if we could buy these properties right and put in the time and work to do the renovation, there's money to be made here. And so we ended up just kind of putting a loan on that property for $120, took $50,000 line of credit, and then
there you go.
That's what kind of
the rest is history.
The rest is history.
Amazing.
I think the next day I started looking for our next property.
So what year was this?
I'm so bad with years and and numbers. It was
like roughly 10 years ago.
It was about 12 years ago.
Okay.
13 years ago.
Gotcha. I love that story. You brought up a certain point where it's kind of like you didn't have everything aligned, and there's this term in real estate that people call analysis paralysis, right? It's before they ever jump into actually taking action on their very first property. You know, they kind of go through and do like a deep analysis on all these deals, and they kind of calculate everything that could go wrong, and if they have the budget and the finances, and whereas you guys, you're like, you don't think you had you didn't have the money. You didn't think your dad had the money, but hey, it looked like a good deal. So, fuck it. Let's go try it. Right.
Right.
So
that's exactly what I said.
That's an amazing point.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. So that's a great point. And then I also had a question where you said your dad had brought you this deal, right? Was it already on the MLS, or do you just kind of get like a word of mouth? Like, how did you guys generate that lead?
I don't know if it was on the MLS yet. I think it was word of mouth, and it was one that was going up for auction.
Okay. Cool.
Biglerville, it's a really small town.
Yeah.
We'll talk.
One of those everyone knows everyone.
So I think that probably had something to do with it.
Okay.
Also.
Do you guys still own it till this day?
Absolutely. We'll never sell that one. That one's out for sale.
Yeah.
So
it's for the memories. You got
exactly.
Right. So you said the very next day, like after you went through, pulled that money out, that was like a perfect Burr strategy before Burr was even a term, right?
Wasn't even a term. I knew.
Absolutely amazing. And from there, you instantly started looking for more properties, right? So did your passion for real estate kind of get started at that very point in time, and you realized like, oh, I can actually, have $50,000 line of credit. I can continue to delegate towards more properties and then just continue to scale that and grow and grow and grow?
Yes.
Yeah.
After that first one, like
it's addicting, isn't it?
I knew I was in trouble.
You do a perfect Burr, you get all that money back. You're like, oh shit, like I'm in it now.
Yeah. Right. And literally that was it.
Yeah.
Like, I was done. And still to this day, it's like, we use that same model for every single deal we've ever done. Like, we kept it simple. We haven't done anything different.
So no, that's another point that I want to bring up. So Stefanie had already mentioned 900 properties, not units.
Yeah.
Fucking amazing. Especially, is that all Pennsylvania? Like central PA, or is that kind of
all central Pennsylvania?
Dude, let me know when you guys are ready to retire. You want to sell that portfolio? We're here, right? No, but seriously though, from that point on, I mean, you've grown substantially. Like, in 10 years is not that long of a period of time. So well done. Congratulations to you, your dad, and your brother. But
to be honest, we haven't met anyone with those numbers.
Okay.
No, like, I think the biggest was, well, we've had a couple big ones, but Rob Neilinger, he was up there. Jeff from Inch & Co., he was up there. Ray Abood, he was up there. Like, all big players, but dude, you just blew them out the fucking water.
I wouldn't say that. Every name you just said, I have so much respect for.
Of course. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's question.
Everyone that we've had on this podcast compared to us is like, they're, if you...
Super motivational, and everyone he named out inspires us every single day.
Yeah. And they're amazing people, because anytime we have questions about like scaling or growing or getting to where they're at, they're always willing to help, which is absolutely amazing.
I remember some of the names you just said. I mean, when we started purchasing and I started to kind of figure out who else was in the space.
Yeah.
I just remember like watching a lot of their transactions, and I was just like, how are they doing this?
This is what you beat them.
I would
on Dorcom alone, you got them beat.
Just that, but no,
Right.
they've been in the game for way longer.
No, they are. They're all amazing people and extremely experienced. Oh, very cool.
Now, how'd you go about scaling from getting that first property and then, getting the next one, so on and so forth, and building that while also like, did you hire property management from the jump, or did you and your father and your brother do it, or how did you guys go about that?
Yep. So we do everything in-house. So as far as starting out, it started out kind of like a lot of investors do, managing it themselves.
That's
Your
what we
first
do.
one.
Yeah.
Manage it yourself. As we started to grow and scale, we did need to start to figure out, okay, like now we need to hire people, or how are we going to do this?
Yeah.
So
Can't do this all ourselves.
yeah, I can't remember exactly what the unit count was, but at the time I still had a full-time job. My mom had a full-time job. My dad, he had a full-time job. And so the first thing that we needed to do was like the bookkeeping and accounting. My mom, she had a background in that. So she actually retired and she started doing that.
There you go. She still do that for you guys?
She still works in our finance department.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yep.
It's like a family business then.
Yeah, 100%.
It's all mom and pop.
Yeah. Yep. And so I think that was like one of our first like big decisions we had to make as a family.
Yeah. Retire the mom.
Right. And so and then that turned into her just kind of helping with the leases and just more, she just kept taking over more and more. We kept growing. And then my dad, like, that was the biggest decision that we had to make. So he then retired as we were going. So then we were really all in at that point. And so I was, and so it's kind of really up to me to make sure that we make it work. Fast forward a little bit, my brother, he was working for M&T Bank. Okay. After his first year there, he quit M&T Bank. So now it's the whole family. I was the only one with like a full-time job, and I actually kept that job for about a year from the time frame that like they were all kind of all in.
Any specific reason of why? Or you just, that security you kind of wanted to?
That is what fueled SPG to scale.
Okay.
So
time that W-2.
I literally would, and I think that's when we would still I would still get like a paper check, my paychecks.
Yeah.
So I would literally just like take them from my mom and be like, here.
Right. Yeah.
So like,
do what you guys need.
Every single dollar, like we were like, as a family, we were just pumping into the business. I also, like, at the same time, like, I got promoted a couple times. I also was pretty good at selling the product we were selling. So
there you go.
I had a pretty good run in that one summer where I made a pretty decent amount of money.
Yeah.
That's really what, again, just helped us to fuel it.
Right.
And so I kept that for a year, mainly for that reason. And then it finally hit a point where, I was like, I can't do both of these.
That's a lot.
Or like it was a lot. And I also just felt like I was doing, I wasn't 100% on either one. So I just felt like I just wasn't doing a good enough job either way. So
that's a good point.
So I had to make that decision. Probably the best decision that I've ever made.
Yeah.
The only regret I have is not making it sooner. I was still like a little bit afraid. I was like, we still need a little bit more money.
A good point you bring that up, because I myself still have my W-2. I actually just got off work, came straight here, and then you pull up like 5 minutes later. Or Stefanie, she's been full-time for a little while now. So it's kind of same situation where I've been like, not all my paychecks. I'm not like every single dollar is going to the company. In the beginning, it was for a little bit, just to like, continue to build those lists and everything. But still, a huge chunk of W-2 income is coming to the company, where it's like, I'm kind of at that borderline right now where I don't necessarily make enough from real estate yet, where I feel as though I'm able to, quit that and still be able to afford my lively expenses, whatever comes along. But at the same time, it's like, you don't really feel 100% committed to either one of them. Where it's like, I know I want to be fully committed to real estate. Like, absolutely, 100%. That's always been my dream since a child. Mm-hmm. But it's like, right?
Do you know, like, do you have a plan for when you're thinking or what?
So I do. I actually relies on kind of both of those guys a little bit. So Ben and Nate, they were nice enough to offer me some kind of training for real estate photography. So it's kind of like, it would still then turn me into a full-time real estate professional per se. So a lot of tax benefits when it comes to that, obviously, versus having W-2, you can't claim yourself to be a real estate professional. But they run a videography, photography, marketing company, media company. And, I could go ahead and take on a couple of their appointments for whenever someone's doing like a photo shoot for, a real estate agent, whatever is going to list a property. They've offered me that opportunity. So I'm still kind of just like in the very beginning stages like that. I've only gone on one training appointment with them, but I definitely do want to do more in the future here. So as soon as I have that as like a guaranteed backup and don't have to rely on any of their cash flow or wholesaling or flipping or innovation income that's coming in, I feel as though that will be my final transition into like, okay, now I'm ready to go full-time in real estate. And whenever I'm lacking on money, hey, Nate, Ben, I need an appointment, right? So that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm very excited for it, to be completely honest. I've been over this fucking W-2 for the past 3 years. Like, I don't want to be there anymore. Bosses are giving me a headache and everything else, but that's a whole nother story. So I'm right there. And when you said that story, it's just very relatable to me. So I know where you're coming from.
Make the jump.
Yeah.
Just do it. You'll figure it out.
Yeah, that's true. I know I will.
We both still live in our parents' basements.
Yeah,
There's
absolutely.
nothing wrong with that.
I mean, we're ready to house hack for sure, but
I had a similar conversation somewhat recently, and they kind of were asking me for advice on that piece of it.
Yeah.
One thing that I did say to them that I think that somewhat registered that was pretty cool was if you don't put yourself in the position, you don't necessarily know how you're going to react to it.
That's true.
If you put yourself in that position tomorrow, like I'm just guessing, or like your mentality is probably gonna switch.
Yeah.
And I even do that with like things on like a smaller basis of just internally, where like if I notice things are pretty routine, we'll try and change it up a little bit, make it a little bit uncomfortable, and just like
it's all about
the way it makes you just kind of rethink or reset.
Yeah. Honestly, it's probably what I need at this point, because it's very routine. I mean, every day it's obviously 9 to 5 is a set schedule, and then coming here right after, going on an appointment or whatever else, maybe involved with the real estate. So it's like, I will say, like, I've definitely gotten more comfortable doing the podcast. I mean, this is an uncomfortable thing for myself, because I know you too. Because neither one of us, we do social media like at all. Like, I have nothing, you have nothing.
No, that's all good.
But I feel like this was a good step in that direction, and now the next one is honestly just to go full blown into it. So I appreciate the advice.
I'm confident you'll figure it out.
Thank you. I think I will too.
Now, how did you guys go about acquiring these properties? Like, do you have VAs overseas calling? Do you have in-house callers? Is it all market stuff?
Yeah, just for lead generation. Like, in order to have that many deals come through, like, you got to have some kind of numbers being pumped out. Like, what's going on?
So we have never done any marketing.
No way.
Like never. We don't use like any callers, none of that.
Yeah.
All the deal flow and all the deals that we purchased were either they were on the MLS, which is a little bit harder to do.
Yeah, especially with BRRRRs. Like,
to do now. So we were bought a lot off the MLS, but probably our biggest years for acquisitions were 2021 and 2022.
COVID.
All of the deal flow was through like a channel of probably like 4 or 5 brokers that we that we worked with.
Yeah. How did you go about building those relationships with them?
Just slowly over time as we expanded. So like I have like the broker that we've worked with forever for like the longest. He was in Hanover, which is where our office is. So like he has always done like our Hanover stuff, some Adams County, Chambersburg area. Yeah. When we wanted to come up to Harrisburg and start purchasing there, I kind of reached out, tested like a couple brokers there. Yeah. And we started using a different broker in Harrisburg. One of the main reasons that we like kind of had different brokers set up in different areas was so that they could really become like more of an expert in that location. In that location. Yeah. So looking back, it kind of just naturally happened. Just progressing. But but it ended up like kind of working well. And if we were to start purchasing like again heavy, I would do the same thing. And so when we had those relationships and we're super loyal to those channels still, to this day, like whenever, like we always try and run them through those channels. Yeah. Our broker in Hanover, he had like the wholesalers started reaching out to him. Because he knows the buyers. And he would bring them into us. And like after they would do one or two with us and they were like, wait, I just sent that to you. And 2 minutes later, I had a yes. Yeah. And then we closed. Like, then they just bring the next one there first. Right. And I think the other piece of it was if the deal made sense, it was always a yes, and it was a yes immediately. So so this broker in Hanover had 3 or 4 different wholesalers were bringing deals, and we were just saying yes to. Same up in Harrisburg, same down in Newark.
Without seeing them, or would you guys see them too?
No, I didn't look at them.
Really?
Gotcha. I kind of say that jokingly. In the beginning, we did. We walked every property. I walked every single property. But after we got a lot of those channels set up, we also vetted like the wholesalers too. And I could always tell just by how stuff was sent over, like, is it organized? Do you have all the information that we need to make a decision? Yeah. Do you have pictures, videos of that property? Yeah. And like, do I have to keep asking for the same, same proper comps, like all that stuff? Yeah. Right. So like once everybody kind of got on the same page, and that process was clicking. That sounds like very automatized at that point. Yeah, it really was. And so they would then make sure to have all that information. It got to the point where like I trusted the wholesaler who I never met before. I just knew like the names of some of these guys and how they were coming in, and I was like, they haven't wronged you yet. They haven't. I trust the broker. I trust the people on the other side. So like, there you go. If these are the actual pictures, and you're telling me those numbers are right. Now I'm always going to look at what's the ARV, what's the rehab and stuff, and I pop in our system, it spits out the price, and it's done. Yeah. But really it was just making sure, is there anything major wrong? Don't bring me anything that has something major, and don't hide pictures. Like, just send me more than you need. And if I have that, at that point, it's on me. If I make a bad decision, like that, you can't. That's my fault. And so that was really like how we got all that deal flow. It was literally just like kind of that tree, just to go along with that. I mean, that's absolutely incredible. You guys had come up with that idea, and you were able to build that trust throughout your community with the wholesalers and the brokers, right? That's incredible. But there's like so many questions to this. I'm sorry. First of all, that takes a lot of money in order to buy those things, right? Where you did you build a relationship with a private money lender? Were you building a relationship with banks at this point? What was kind of your like financial
standpoint?
Yeah. So for the purchase, so our first one was my grandpa did the purchase. We brought the rehab money. So as we started to scale up, we also started to scale up like a group of investors that we could use to purchase with. And so to this day, like that is how we've done everything. And so that's just kind of grown with us over time.
Build those relationships.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
And it was, and it was just they would always bring the purchase money. We always brought the rehab money. Yeah. And then they get paid back when we would refinance. I think in 2022, that's when we had our biggest purchase here. I think we had about 35 million of investor money. Like,
wow, that's amazing. Good job.
So,
yeah, that's a lot of
And
money.
what was the biggest purchase? Like, how many units was it?
Individual property, I think the biggest one we own is maybe 23 units or so. But
Okay.
as far as transaction, like biggest transaction we've done, so we bought a portfolio in York, and this was like one day from one person. It was 156 properties, I think 256
Wow.
units. It was like 13 million or so. I honestly don't even remember. If I'm not at my computer, I'm useless.
I mean, you know a lot.
If I'm not at my,
It's hard to keep track of all that.
if I'm at my computer, I can tell you everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like, that was the biggest one that we
Wow.
did.
Congratulations.
Oh.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
Is it scary?
I wouldn't say scary.
Yeah.
No. We negotiated it for a couple months.
Oh.
Didn't walk a single one of them. Didn't walk a single one of them.
They're just looking at the numbers. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at the numbers.
What about photos? Like, they just sent photos of a couple units, or
Photos,
Just the address and the portfolio.
the addresses, the portfolio. I can tell a lot by the rents.
Yeah.
We have tons of just internal data that I can kind of use to like
Right.
get a pretty good gauge. I mean, I know that looking at that portfolio and they were all in York, so they were all like pretty similar.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can tell just by looking at the rent roll. For instance,
Yeah.
800. I know how much that rehab is. If the rent's 1,200, I know what that turnover is like.
right? You're so used to it.
Yeah, we can make enough of those assumptions. But then I think the other piece of it, probably the most important piece of it, was I trusted the seller. So it was it was direct. I was dealing,
Okay.
I was dealing with the owner.
Yeah.
And so that was the biggest part of it.
Nice. So did you take it like property by property, run comps on every single one, run rehabs, run rent rolls, like every single property in that portfolio, or did you kind of look at it as a whole?
Both.
Both.
Okay. So growing our portfolio, one thing that's people find kind of interesting is, so like none of our properties are cross collateralized. So like every single property has a loan. So like we literally have 900 loan payments we make every
That's a lot to keep track of.
Crazy to think about.
Poor mom.
Yeah.
Finances.
Yeah. Luckily we have a whole finance team now, but yeah, at one point, it was poor mom. That's when we decided that we had to make some changes and stuff.
Are you guys still buying more till this day?
You got to hit 1,000.
And we did get over 1,000, and then we sold off a decent amount in the past year or so. But
Any reason for that?
for selling,
Yeah.
mainly for just because retail numbers were pretty decent.
Market was at a high.
And so like I think last year we sold like 200 some properties or so.
Yeah. Are you noticing it's getting more difficult to buy and keep these properties with the higher interest rates since they raised them?
I don't know if I'm the best person to ask for that, just because like in at the end of 2022, after we purchased the 400 properties, we did slow up just because I was like, okay, we got to get that was a big year. We got to get rebalanced here and just kind of
Stabilize
some things. So we started doing that, and then that's also when we started kind of just getting up like the dispositions channel up and running. So we started doing that, and at that time like kind of slowed buying, and like we really haven't come back around to start purchasing, which I don't think I really have like nothing planned in the future.
Gotcha.
For purchasing.
And how big is your team now? Like, how many people does that consist of?
I think we have like 60 or 65 employees.
Whoa, that's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
What's like if you had to break those off into like sectors,
Mhm.
like what would that look like? You have disposition to acquisitions, finance.
So probably the best place to start, just to put it in perspective, is probably about 20 to 20, probably about 20 are like in the office.
Okay.
The rest are field.
Okay.
So a lot more kind of on the field team side than what we have.
Is that like contractor?
They're like actual SPG employees.
Right.
But yeah, it's our maintenance team, our punch out team. So
do you have like all your contractors per se, whether they're sub, not matter, but in-house? So it's like any of the rehabs you're doing?
For the most part, we still sub out a decent amount of work, but like we have carpenters in-house. We have a lot of our specialists in-house, like electricians, HVAC. So we do have all that in-house. Sometimes the volume's a lot, and like we still sub.
Yeah, it'd be like stuff. My guy's booked until next week. I can just hire that one out. Gotcha.
What area do you prefer to purchase most in? Like, is it Harrisburg, York, Lancaster?
I don't think I have a preference. I don't have a preference.
As long as it makes sense.
If the numbers make sense, yeah. I will say, I think if you would have asked me that maybe like a couple years ago, it might have been different. But a lot of our properties are like actual true like single families, and then a decent amount of like small multis, like the 2 units, 3 units, 4 units, stuff like that. And so one of the biggest challenges in scaling that is the operational piece of it, just your operations out in the field. And so when we first started buying, everything was just in Adams County. It was pretty local to like where we grew up at. So Bigelouville, Gettysburg. Then we decided that we were going to start buying in Hanover. I was terrified before we first. It was different. It was out of the comfort zone. It was only 15 minutes away, but I didn't think it too well. So like, I was terrified.
Yeah, right.
But so then we started buying in Hanover. Bought as much as we could there, and then we decided to look in Chambersburg. So kind of started purchasing there. And so like we kind of started doing that all over like South Central Pennsylvania, then went to Harrisburg, then went to York. With how we have our like operations set up and just the scalability piece of it, you almost have to have a certain amount of units in like each of those
like locations.
Those locations, like Franklin County, Chambersburg. Like you kind of have to have enough of those to be able to support. Like,
just make it make sense.
Yeah, your property manager, your maintenance tech out there, and then the same kind of in York and Harrisburg. So,
right, because if you have only one property out there and they're driving like an extra 45 minutes just for this one job every single time, it's not even worth it at that point.
Yeah, it crushes you. So so there was a time where like that, like getting that scalability, it's like I was like, are we ever even going to get there? Like, is this going to even work?
I mean, did you have an angle when you guys started this, like a certain door count, a certain cash flow amount? You just want to go as big as possible.
Like you said, it's addicting. So it's
it is. It really is. You get a good deal, you're like, oh, I'm not
right. But like, right, yeah. With where we're at now, it's almost like the ROI goes up with the more we purchase, because the more that we own in York that have the same operations to support it, like the more cash flow, the more your margin goes up. So
now I have a question, because we have this issue with our business of paying ourselves. It's so bad. Like, because our mindset is just put money back into the company, build the momentum. But it's like, when do you get to the point where it's like, okay, you still got to pay yourselves? And with you having your full-time job starting in the beginning and you putting all that money back into the business, like, when did you and your family start actually paying yourselves? And, because that cash flow you make, it just would go back, if you guys would take it out, your company really wouldn't grow. So I don't know, like, what's your thought on like paying yourself, and how did you guys go about that?
I think that's a great question. There's probably a better person to ask for this one. And there is probably like a way better answer than mine. I mean, I should probably be finding somebody to ask the same.
I mean, you got a G-Wagon, so you're doing good.
Yeah. So, look, I've never taken a paycheck ever.
From the rentals or from
just from
lending?
The business at all. Like I've just never really taken a paycheck.
Okay.
I work like 24/7, like all the time. I just like it. So and my thought on it has, or like, I don't really, like, if I paid myself, I don't really know what I'd do with the money. I'd probably just, I'd probably put it back. I don't really have anything that's.
I mean, if you want to go like take a vacation per se, like where's that money coming from? If you want to do that,
my parents pay for this. Like, they'll pay for it. They'll pay for that.
Yeah, gotcha.
So like my mom and dad, like they take a paycheck.
Yeah.
I actually don't know if my brother does it or not. Like I'm not really.
No, I love it.
Maybe.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, yeah,
yeah. So I feel like.
So is that under the company then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha.
So
that's what
you got the tax benefits. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, I don't. I'm sure if I like had something I wanted to personally purchase, like, I mean, yeah, I probably would.
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't really matter.
Okay.
Matter to me.
Now, you're obviously very into keeping these properties. Have you ever done flips, wholesaling, any of that?
We've never done wholesaling. The flips, we have done some.
Yeah.
We just have one that we did recently. We don't do a ton of them. When we were first starting out, we were doing both. We were doing a lot. We were trying to do flips. We were trying to do rentals. I just remember my brother. So my brother, he runs just like a lot of the operations at our company, and then he's always been like kind of heavily involved in the construction side of it and field side of it, like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Falls under him. And so I remember he came to me and just said, he's like, we're struggling with getting the scope right, having the contractors bounce back and forth, doing rentals to doing like a flip.
Okay.
And so
you're doing different kind of finishes on a flip versus a rental.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And so they were struggling just to like get those scopes down and or to keep them consistent.
Yeah.
And so I just remember he just said, he's like, can we just pick one of these? I'm like, sure. And so that at that point in time, we decided, well, let's go with the rentals for now and we'll stay focused on those. And then from a buying perspective, I just started focusing on
rentals,
paid cents for rentals.
Okay.
Looking back, for us, that was a good decision because that's what really allowed us to like just get in that rhythm and get all the processes working. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if that's like the right decision or the right answer.
Fuck it worked for you guys.
Right. and I never think there's a right answer.
No,
I never think there's an old. Like,
everything works differently for different people.
Right.
Yeah. For us, that worked, and like where I feel like we're really good at, or where we're just strong, like a company as a whole, is like if we make a decision that we want to do something, we're really good at ironing out like the processes up front and thinking ahead of them, but like
it's having you
not doing it like too crazy, but like enough to just be able to get started and have enough structure to start.
Yeah.
Good at meshing that with our infrastructure, like or our system, so then we can stay consistent with it.
Okay.
And then just and like scaling that piece of it. So
that's a huge part when it comes to scaling and growing to the size that you guys have. Like, it's all about the systems at that point.
Yeah, systems, processes, and just being able to repeat them. And so like I looking back for us, like that's what we were kind of we were good at, we were comfortable with, we understood it. So like that's kind of why I think making that decision to just focus on the rentals like helped us out. So flipping, we were never really that good at it.
That's okay. So I mean, some people definitely specialize in flipping, other people specialize in rentals, and some specialize in wholesaling. So it's just really whatever.
I don't love flipping. He's more of a flipper.
I just like we haven't seriously done like too many flips or like very like high end flips or large project flips, like down to the bones kind of things. But I always just like the idea of like having this property looks ugly, looks like dog shit, and then you can kind of just turn it into like whatever you want it to look like just make it as nice as possible. I just love the process of that, and like just being able to do it. That's like, it's all in my head too. It's not like I'm the one actually in there painting these walls. Well, I used to be.
We put in the work.
Yeah, we did. We put in the work in the beginning just because we had to. But yeah, I don't know.
So why don't you like flipping as much?
I know.
Well, I want to hear what you say.
Risk tolerance.
Risk tolerance. But I always make sure if he wants to flip on a property, okay, our backup strategy, can we buy this as a rental?
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I fully agree with that.
Yeah. So, but also it's like, if we're able, I think where our company was currently at, just like being able to have fast cash, to have reserves set aside for rental properties. I'm like, let's just build quicker with the cash. And then with a flip, it could take 3 months, 4 months. And then what if it doesn't sell? Because we had this one scare with the wholesale deal we did. That was our first time. It sold 30 days what was it? Like 45 days maybe it took to sell.
Did it take that long?
I don't know.
Maybe.
Possibly.
I don't know.
But we weren't used to that. Some other investors are like, oh, that's nothing.
Especially like it was a house in a beautiful neighborhood in Hershey.
Oh, best location.
It was over $100,000 discounted from the neighbor's house that just sold, same size, like everything. We're like, why is it not selling? Like, what's going wrong?
Yeah.
Right.
So those, like, I don't know. We balance with our risk, which is good. Yeah.
That's what I'm picking up. I think that's important. I think it's pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes we butt heads every now and then, but it's never anything serious, to be honest. Yeah, like, thankfully we grew up together, like going all throughout high school, middle school, elementary school. Yeah, so first jobs. Yeah, we know how each other operate. Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about, comparing that then to rentals? Like if you had to rank like rentals, flips, and
on what we prefer doing?
Yeah, like what do you prefer versus what do you?
I mean, honestly, I think we both prefer this.
Rentals, wholesale, flips.
Okay.
That's my order.
So rentals, top for sure. Yeah. And initially when we actually first started this business, our whole goal was let's generate $100,000 a month each person, like in order to pay ourselves that much. Like that was kind of just our goal. So in the back of our mind, it was like mainly rentals that we wanted to get into.
Yep.
But we didn't think that we were going to be able to start off with rentals. Like we got to build up a substantial amount of capital and just go through like that whole real estate investor process, right? And then we did end up doing like a couple wholesale deals and a hotel or something like that. Novation.
Yeah.
We did the one in Lancaster. Yeah. But then we still didn't have that much capital saved up because we were kind of putting it all into marketing and like building out our systems, software programs, all that kind of stuff, like this lead generation and hiring employees, VAs, stuff like that. But then we finally came across the duplex and I didn't have the idea of keeping it as a rental. I was like, no, we still need capital and everything. Mm-hmm. She brought up the idea of like, why don't we keep this one?
And that was like, the Holy Spirit. Because I don't know, like, I don't know why I would say that, but I was like,
yeah, because our mindset at that time was all like wholesale, like whatever we can do, like get it as discounted as possible, sell it to the next guy, and then they can worry about it. But this one, she was like, let's keep it. I was like, I like the idea of keeping a property. Let's try it.
Yeah.
Ended up going pretty well. Perfect burr.
Got under contract with we didn't have the money. Same how, you did your first one. We're like, we don't know where the money's coming from.
We didn't have contractors. We had nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, never mind. You already covered that. I had a question, but
yeah,
you answered it.
And eventually all worked out. So,
yeah. So as of right now, we're at 14 doors in total. We do have another duplex under contract. So it'll be 16 in total. So
that's the one, the DSCR loan we're working on. I was telling you about.
I really like the idea of that, like financial structure of that one, because we've never done it like that before. I don't know how well she explained it to you.
Yeah,
I told her
how we're purchasing with DSCR. We're like wholesaling it to our other company and using that wholesale as a down payment for our DSCR loan.
Okay,
but all through a single transaction.
Yep.
Okay. So what's like the purchase price?
Sure. So we'll run through it. Yeah. So purchase price that we got under contract for is $160. Mm-hmm. We looked at comps. We're believing it should appraise for $210 to $230, like somewhere in that range.
So it's a single family. It's like ran out as a single family, but we can make it a two.
It's already a duplex.
Yeah, basically.
Just add a second mailbox and you got a duplex. Separately metered, like absolutely everything. 2 kitchens, bunch. So, got it under contract for $160. We're hoping appraisal comes back between around $215 is pretty much our target goal. 20% for DSCR down payment, obviously. So let's say at $215, that come back at $43,000 as a down payment. So at the $160, we just have to wholesale it to our other company for $203.
So what we're doing, the exact numbers is we're wholesaling it to our company for $210. So that's a $50,000 spread. From that $210, 20% of that was $42,000. And then from that $50K, we'll have left over $8,000, which will be added towards closing costs. And if we have to come out of pocket $1,000 or $2,000, hey, we got a property for $1,000 or $2,000, you know, so
Right.
that cash flows.
This
like
one should
crazy.
cash flow about $1,500 a month.
Yeah, our average cash flows are
Per
around
door.
500.
Per door, it's like $500 to $600 a door. Yeah. So we're getting killer deals. It's just trying to build that,
Right.
keep these deals coming in, because that's where our main issue is. We've also always had the mindset where this is something that you guys do differently, actually, is all the single family properties we don't really want to keep. We're like, if that property goes vacant, we're negative no matter what that month. Where multifamily, obviously, you can have one vacancy, but still possibly cash flow or at least break even. So any single families, that's when we try to either wholesale it or flip it or novate it. But I mean, based off of what you've done, like it's almost motivating just to keep these fucking
Just keep everything.
right.
I mean, if there's a lot of like perspectives on the single family.
Yeah.
What do you prefer, like multi or single?
I don't know if I necessarily have a preference.
As long as it makes money.
Yeah, if it makes money. I mean, we'll buy a 20 unit single family. Like either one, we're using the same structure. I'm looking at them the same. Like
Right.
kind of is what it is. The single families, it's pretty scalable. Like
Right.
find
It's a lot easier.
units that the scalability is not necessarily like. I mean, you can. I'm sure that you could. It's a little tougher.
Yeah. Just trying to find them.
Yeah, I think the margins on your single families, like they're definitely tighter. They're
Yeah.
tight. Your point about how one goes vacant, like that definitely hurts
Ruins it for
for like that property. With single families and small multi, I think it comes back to like, you have to do it at almost like a certain scale to hedge like that month of missing your rent.
So you're kind of looking at it as like, well, if I buy 20 single families, one of those can go vacant, but with the cash flow from all the other ones, it makes up for it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of just the idea of like a multifamily, but just a bunch of single families.
Absolutely. Like,
Okay.
I mean,
That's a good way to look at it.
If you were to look at our financials and take just your portfolio, like a group of them that are stabilized and rent like that are really good.
Mm-hmm.
The financials look very similar. Like if you bought a big multi-unit building, because if you buy a big multi-unit building, you probably have your in-house leasing person there. You probably have your in-house maintenance staff.
Yeah,
a couple of the other things like we have that same kind of thing dedicated
to all these single families in that area.
Yeah. To those. So
and it's better for selling too, because you're selling to that residential buyer, whereas the 20 unit, if you want to sell that, it's that investor.
It's got to be a specific buyer.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's I think that's another thing that I do like about our portfolio and that I like about the single family is that we can sell any of them off whenever we want. I mean, we literally sold off 200 some just over the past year. It's kind of crazy.
That's awesome.
That is. Yeah.
As tenants are moving out, we either make a decision: do we want to rent this again, or do we want to sell it? And so, and if we want to, we can sell it. We don't have to.
And do you have like an average cash flow per unit, like for the single families versus just the multifamilies?
I don't know if we necessarily like have a target in a sense. I mean, our underwriting is to like whatever the bank or whatever our lender normally would. So like that's kind of the minimum where like we gotta hit. Yeah. I'm sure some cash flow a little bit better.
Yeah, of course.
Some might even cash flow a little bit worse. I think from when we started, I was much more focused on the per property because I mean, you have to be.
Because if one goes wrong, like that could be your entire business.
Yeah, every single one of them just got to be maximizing. I guess like with where it's at now. I mean, it's very rare that I look at the individual. It's more just like kind of where we like the top end higher numbers, just making sure that it's all look good.
Can you say the numbers for 1,600 units?
Just from a cash flow perspective.
Yeah. I mean, top end rents. I mean, it's over $1 million a month.
That's crazy. It's so casual.
I mean, it's
gross or net?
Just the gross top end number.
Okay.
I'd have to be in my computer. I could get I could give you perfect numbers, but yeah, I mean it's well over $1 million.
That's amazing.
Like 1.3, 1
Yeah,
somewhere.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah,
well done.
It's really good. Now, how did you guys go to transition about the lending company and start that?
Well, one more question about the portfolio before we jump into that. When you're obviously, Burr, a lot of refinances going on. Are you going through the same bank for all these refis?
Not, we don't go through the same bank because we haven't found one that would like that would
handle that much.
Zoom up now.
Yeah.
2 years ago, three years ago, there was one lender that literally could do all of them, and they were awesome, but like they're not around.
Credit union or
no, it was called Civic Financial.
Oh, okay.
They were awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were backed by a really large bank.
Okay.
Like on the west coast. So like they were rates were super low. They were selling everything to this bank. So like it was bad. They were the only ones in the space that weren't selling their loans to like where all the DSCR loans are going now.
Yeah.
They actually like had like a completely different outlet. So like their product was way more flexible. And it was I wish since we've been doing this, it was the best product on the market.
I wish they were still around.
Yeah.
Because this is, just to be honest with you, this is a big issue that we've ran into. Going through and doing these burrs, we have not found a single like bank or credit union that we like to refi with yet.
Yeah.
It's just an issue over and over again.
Knock on wood, no more issues.
Yeah, hopefully not. But
yes, we do probably, we do at least 30 to 50 refinances every month.
Wow.
Like we live,
my God.
Yeah.
So like one of the guys in my office, he's actually he's like my right hand guy.
Yeah.
Like he is the one who does all of those. And he's killer. He's good at he knows every single lender out there that would lend on like this type of product.
Yeah.
He knows where their loans are going, like how they're being sold.
Really? I'd love a connection with this guy at some point.
Yeah.
If you don't mind.
Yeah.
So I gotta talk to him.
Yeah. No, I can definitely make it happen.
Maybe we'll have to stop by one of your office one of these days.
Anytime.
Okay, cool.
More than welcome. But
thank you.
I used to do all of those, and then he took them over now. And he was a real estate guy when he first came on.
Yeah.
And now today, he's way better at it than me. We got to refinance.
Just send it to him.
He takes it.
He got it.
He knows the space.
Okay.
Crazy.
Cool. Yeah. Okay, now we can dive into
the lending side of things.
You guys are jumping into new territory.
Yeah. Whose idea was it to jump into lending?
So it was always a topic that was kind of there. My brother and I talked about it. We never really executed on it just because we tend to try and stay very focused on what we're doing. So when we were growing the portfolio in mind, that was that.
Yeah.
It. But then once we decided to kind of get everything rebalanced, kind of do some of the sales in 2023, we also started paying back a lot of that investor money. Actually, probably pretty much all of it. I'm pretty sure we paid all of it back over the last year. So
that's just from selling those 200 plus properties.
That and just refis,
yeah,
too.
Okay.
So all of that money got paid back.
So everything you have now is just long-term loans.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just
yeah. And so I was trying to figure out how do we get that money working? Because I love making other people money too. I like making money. I also like making other people money. There's something.
You don't even pay yourself. This doesn't count.
Yeah. So, but it was kind of just trying to figure out, all right, but how can we get this money working again?
Mm-hmm.
And really, what I came up with, the two options are we can either start purchasing again, or we could probably do start lending.
Yeah.
So towards the end of 2023, had that conversation with our attorney. he reached out to another law firm that was a little bit more specialized in what we wanted to do. And then for like the first quarter of this year, like kind of like work through that slowly just to get everything up and running. Then here in July, like we got the approval and they're like, you're good.
Have you done one yet?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. So we literally the first phone call was like the first week of July that I started reaching out to let people know that we're lending. So we're like 4 or 5-ish weeks in or so. We're just under. I think after today, hopefully, like check my phone. We got some. Should be right around like $4 million committed to fund.
Wow,
that's amazing.
Good job.
It just
that blew up fast. I mean, everyone wants money.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the first part of it, and again, we haven't done any marketing and anything. Like for the first month, I was all right. We gotta test the market. We gotta make this make sure this is even gonna work.
Yeah,
right.
Like, are we gonna put out a product that's good? Are people are gonna like me?
Right.
Like, want to work with it? I don't know.
I think after this podcast, you'll have a lot of people in. You know,
I'm not sure. And so, I think now just here with like the first 4 weeks is what we've been able to get like committed to fund. Like, like we're going to go real hard.
There you go.
We're going to be aggressive. The one thing that we were also good at was purchasing properties and
right.
actually just take them down, buying them, and we've always been able to like raise money on the back end. And so when we bought in 2022 the 400 properties, like there was like we had a lot of purchasing power that year because every deal that came in that made sense, like we never said, like we would just never say no. If it made sense, we would buy it. And so the wholesalers and the brokers, like they knew that.
Just like, all right, just keep sending them.
Find it, and they just kind of kept coming over, forced us to like raise more money.
Yeah.
And so like we had a lot of purchasing power there. And so as I was also kind of getting the lending piece off the ground, I was like, we were super good at that part of it.
Yeah.
And so like my goal, like I want to help other investors now on that piece of it, because I remember what it was like early on when we had to buy a property on a Friday and it's Wednesday and I don't even know where we're getting the money.
Exactly.
Fun.
We run into that sometimes.
We gotta make $10K by tomorrow.
Oh my gosh, that's the worst feeling. Like, what do I do?
You can't sleep the night before. Like it's a
seriously
horrible feeling because like title company already did work. Like all these people that put work in.
They're relying on you to close on this thing.
Right.
They're like, I don't got the money.
So I just remember like what that feeling was like, and sometimes I'm like, what were the options? Now, like, we were always able to figure it out, but like I think like that's a problem that I can kind of like help.
Well, thank
solve.
You.
Yeah,
a lot of people have that problem.
Yeah, I mean, I as long as the numbers look good and like find it at a good price, like we're gonna lend on.
So do you guys do all your own underwriting then as well?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. I was gonna say, just don't trust every deal that's coming in.
Oh no, absolutely. We've already said no to a decent amount of them.
That's good.
I will like run over them multiple times to try to not say no, but like at the end of the day,
if it's not a deal, it's not a deal.
Yeah,
it's not a deal, and like we're going to be aggressive from the perspective of like how much we'll lend, how fast we're going to make decisions, like all those standpoints. But like we're not, we absolutely won't be aggressive when like a bad property. Like if it's a bad property and like the numbers don't make sense, like
then listen,
like it's not going to make sense.
Yeah.
I also feel like if I were to say yes, I'm not doing like the other
that person.
Right, exactly.
Into a bad.
So they're gonna lose money at the end of the day too.
So that part we won't be as aggressive. We don't like it, but
I'm excited to see how big you guys scale this thing.
Yeah.
Do you have a goal for it?
No, not really.
Just like real estate, just go as big as you can.
I think that would be it. I think
the goal is for them to lend on our next property.
That's definitely going to happen.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah.
We got to find the deal.
Yeah.
We'll do that and then come bring it to you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's a piece of it. Like I want to kind of take off the table to be able to help with.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. I think another piece of it that I've started to pick up on and notice that I really think about is like a couple of the people that have done deals with us, like sometimes they'll even like pick my brain on like, should I buy this or not?
Yeah.
Hey, it's your job to figure out first.
Right. They're like, should I buy this? Or like, hey, how would you look at this one? I had somebody the other day that they bought a lot of single families, two super comfortable, good at executing on those.
Yeah.
A 12 unit that they were looking at, not quite as confident in that, and like what due diligence should I do, or what, like how do I analyze
how do I have the numbers on it,
what am I really looking for? And like I just did four like my system literally, like I type in a couple things and it doesn't. I literally send it back to
was it a deal?
I think the price was a little high, and I told him my honest opinion. He was still negotiating at the time, so I'm really glad that
he didn't get under contract at that higher price.
Glad that he brought it to me at that point, because then I kind of just like gave my suggestions on it.
Yeah.
Do I know? I mean, maybe my underwriting was right. Maybe it was wrong. I
mean, if you've done it this many times, I hope it's right.
I'm sure it is. I know it's right for my risk tolerance. I don't know.
Right. Everyone has a different. Yeah,
that's true.
Different. I know it was for mine. I think the part of it that I could really take out like risk I could take out of it was like just what due diligence should he do beyond just a normal like walking through the units, or like what are some things that could maybe go wrong that you maybe just want to really, really check on here. And so
gotcha.
I thought that wasn't something I was really expecting. I was expecting just to look at addresses, numbers, yes, no, here's the loan amount.
Yeah. He's like, analyze this.
Kind of just to give thoughts. I'm usually pretty forward, so I'm definitely not going to say this is a great deal just because it's under contract.
Right.
I'm going to try and give like best like thoughts on it that I can.
So you got a lender and a mentor.
Maybe.
Final question before we wrap it up here. We're coming. Oh shit, we just had an hour. Congratulations. For your tenants, are they all market tenants, or have you ventured into like Section 8 or any? Yeah.
Yeah. We'll do Section 8. I looked at this not too long ago. I think probably 60 to 75 of our units are like Section 8 or so, just some sort of assistance.
Financial assistance.
Yeah, assistance. And I know like in all the counties, like we're approved, or we like whatever you have to do for those.
Yeah.
Our take on Section 8 or even just anything really is like it doesn't matter necessarily to us, but like we still have our requirements for like
vetting
for vet
screening.
If you meet those, like we're good.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay.
So that's kind of our perspective on it.
Nice.
What do you guys? Or I guess what?
We like Section. We love it.
Yeah, we do Section 8. So
okay.
We do Section 8. We do like refugees that are coming over from Ukraine, and we do market as well. So a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
We haven't done any sober living yet. That's something that we might venture into in the future. We're not too sure yet.
What was it?
Sober living. So it's a rent by the room.
Oh, I get it. Okay. Yeah.
So we haven't done that yet, but it's an idea that we've been tossing around. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. But I have one last question. What's like a typical day in the life of Ryan?
That's a great question.
I stand at my desk all day long. I was standing desk. I stand there.
Like what time are you typically getting up and everything? Like
what time you working out? Because obviously you do.
I don't work out anymore. I used to. I don't as much anymore. I'm usually up as early as I can wake up every morning. Like my favorite part of the day is the morning.
Yeah.
You always been a morning person?
I would say so. Like ever since like I got like into like the business world, I would say yes.
Yeah, definitely.
My favorite part of my day is just my drive into the office every day. Just always like it, kind of quiet, can think.
Yeah.
So I would say like normally I'm out of my house by 6.
Yeah.
I think on Monday morning I woke up at like 3:30 and I just
Oh, shoot.
so I just got up and
Which one's the
went into the office. Went into the office, but and then I'm usually there like pretty late.
Okay.
So yeah, like I said, I kind of work
Nice.
for a lot.
Oh, no, I mean, this was an awesome podcast.
Yeah.
It was,
Appreciate you coming on.
I hope so.
no, it's amazing.
Really good.
Yeah, because there's sometimes where we have a podcast and it's like a new guest that we don't know very well. And like there are those little awkward moments where like we don't know what to say or anything. But I think this one flowed extremely well compared to the past. So you should like you got a little knack for it.
I hope so
Knack?
too.
I think it's Knack. I don't know.
Yeah.
But we'll make sure to leave Ryan's information down below. So if you guys have a property that you need lended on, contact Ryan. Are you just lending in Central PA, in like PA or other states as well?
South Central PA, not
South
even
Central.
all, just Central PA. We know the market, and if we went wider than that, I don't know if we give a good loan product. We know this market, so we can
Stick to it.
Yeah, we'll stick to it.
Awesome. Well, reach out to Ryan if you need anything for lending. I don't know if you're mentoring at all or anything like that.
Never done anything like that, but then I've never done a podcast before, so who knows?
We're saying no.
Who knows?
But
With
please,
go ahead.
I'm just going to say, please don't forget to subscribe.
Yeah.
Smash that like button. We're continuing to grow this channel and bring on bigger and bigger guests, as you can see. So, yeah.
With that being said, we'll catch you guys in the next one.
Peace.
Peace.